What's going on, everyone? Today on Between the Dots podcast, the NHL preseason's coming to an end. Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov have impressed in their Leafs debuts. Is this going to be sustainable over the season? Plus, Sens Cam Talbot out 5 to 7 weeks with a broken rib. How is this going to impact the Ottawa Senators and their playoff aspirations? We are discussing news around the NHL, recapping the last week of Leafs and Sens, right here, right now on Between the Dots podcast. Let's go.
All right, week 2, episode 2. The nerves are gone after the first episode. That was a little challenging for both of us, but we're ready to start off episode 2 with the Hoodie Giveaway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There was definitely a bit of a learning curve for that first episode. There was more than a few technical difficulties. We were recording late at night. It was, but we're rolling now, and we're ready to provide you with some awesome insights about the Leafs and Sens. First things first, we're doing our hoodie giveaway, and we want to say thank you so much to those of you who shared our episode on social media and subscribed to the YouTube channel. And also thank you to those people who texted us, messaged us on social media, saying how much you enjoyed the first episode. It really does mean a lot hearing from all you, and we just hope to keep getting better and better with each and every episode. But now we're ready to find out who our winner is from last week's episode.
So for all of you who are listening on the podcast and you're not watching the video itself, we've got a wheel here in front of us with all the names of the people who subscribed and liked our video and shared it on social media. So we're going to go ahead and spin that and see who the winner is for the hoodie.
Oh yeah, so this is all random, live. We didn't do any of this before. So what we're going to do is press this button. It's got all your names on it, and we're going to spin that, find out who's going to win a brand new, hot off the press, super comfy Between the Dots hoodie. So we're going to give this a spin now. But again, all these names out here, right here, we see you. We see you. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for supporting. Absolutely we do. Let's give this a spin to find out who this first winner is. And by the way, I wish I could give a hoodie to every single one of you out there. Fortunately, we only got one hoodie to give away this week, so that's what we got. So we're going to give this a spin now, and we're going to see who wins. We're going to shuffle it up, shuffle these names up. For those of you watching, you see this wheel. For those of you listening, it's on a big spinning wheel, and we're going to give this a spin, shuffle a couple times, and we're ready to spin.
It's all randomized. Let's see who's going to win here.
Here we go. Who's our first winner? And it looks like the winner is Mr. Owen Hinch. Congratulations, Owen. Wow. Live reaction.
Bring up him.
Come on, Hinch.
Hello?
What's up, Hinch?
Who's this?
Yeah. Who's this?
It's Hinch.
We just did the giveaway of the hoodie on our thing.
Oh, it's Kaczewski.
Yeah. What do you mean? Who is it?
Sorry. I'm not. I'll explain to you another day. I don't have color. Long story short.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry.
me and Felix are doing, we're recording right now, and we just went in and did a random wheel with all the names for the people that shared it. There's quite a few names, and you won.
No, you can't give it to me.
No, it came up, and we're like, and the winner is, and the wheel spins and it stops. Oh, and Hinch.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
It was literally all live. We just spun the wheel.
Yeah, I hope you can fit into an XL, because that's all we got.
Oh, boy, that's even night down on me. Unreal. That's incredible.
Well, we're going to keep recording here, but I figured I just wanted to give you the live update that you are the winner.
A little inside scoop. That's awesome. That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to read Between the Dots.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Let's go. Congratulations, Hinch.
Thanks, folks. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, Hinch. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, for sure. You guys have a good night and enjoy your little podcast.
You too. See
I'll
ya.
be sure to word up that merch and share it everywhere.
Perfect. Can't wait.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
That is awesome. So basically, we're going to be reaching out to you, Hinch, getting your shipping details, your sizes and all that, and we'll get you in touch with one of these lovely Between the Dots hoodies. Congratulations, Owen.
Great work, Owen Hinch.
That's awesome. So, you know what? I'm feeling pretty generous. We're going to do one more giveaway for you out there. We're going to give away one more Between the Dots hoodie. So for those of you that didn't have a chance to get one last week, you got one more chance at this. And for those of you who missed entering the last one, this is your time right here. So it's not too late. This time around, all you have to do is two things. Number one, you're going to share this episode on social media. So last time we made an Instagram story and we made a tweet about our episode. Either repost that story or retweet us. Number two that you can do, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everyone, please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. This is something that we are trying to grow. Our goal is to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube, and it would mean a lot if everyone watching or listening could just head on over and click that subscribe button on YouTube. All that means is YouTube's just going to send you a notification anytime we release our videos. And if you want to, you can even turn them off, but definitely keep them on. And please subscribe to us on YouTube.
Be sure to, when you share the video on Instagram as well, tag us in it so then we get the notification that we see that you've shared it to your story. Makes it a lot easier for us to see who's shared it. So, make sure you tag us when you share it.
The link to our YouTube channel will be in the description of this episode, so smash that subscribe button for us. It would mean a lot, and in the process of that, you will also be entering yourself for a chance to win another free Between the Dots hoodie. So thank you very much, everyone, for your support. Let's get talking some Leafs and Sens.
So we're going to head over to our next segment here, week in, week out. This is, if you remember from last week, we just quickly do a recap on the teams, what they did this past week and what they have this upcoming week. So we're going to start with the Leafs for the weekend. This was actually a big week for the Leafs. Right after we finished recording last week, woke up the next morning and actually saw that the Leafs had signed Sandin to a 2-year deal, $2.8 million deal.
That's a good deal.
This is the identical deal to Liljegren, which I think is great because in my eyes they're very similar players. They've shown similar skills in the NHL so far, and I think it's fair. It's a good deal because they still have a lot to prove, obviously, and that's a good little deal that obviously gets them their money, but also gives them time to really show what they have to earn a bigger long-term deal worth more money. And yeah, I think it's a great signing for the Leafs because obviously they're a little bit short on the back end right now when it comes to injuries. Like Muzzin and Liljegren still unsure on how they're going to start the year, and you want to get off on the right foot to start the year. So it's good to get Sandin in there. I'm excited for that, and I bet a lot of Leaf fans are happy to see him in training camp now. But yeah, in terms of the injuries, I know we touched on this a little bit last week, but Jordy Ben went down in that Montreal-Toronto preseason game last Wednesday, and he's going to be out for a minimum of 3 weeks. Yeah, with the groin injury. So haven't heard many more updates on that as of now, but hopefully he can heal up and obviously he won't be ready for the start of the year, but hopefully a couple weeks in he can get into the lineup. And as well as Carl Dahlstrom went down with a much more significant injury. He's out for a minimum of 6 months. He's got a shoulder injury that's going to require surgery, so he's going to be out for a while, and obviously hope he can come back stronger, and it's going to be a tough recovery for him, but hopefully he can recover from that and like I said, come back stronger and ready to go. And then the Leafs, their 2 exhibition games they had this week, they were in Belleville on Friday. The Leafs doubled up the Sens 6-3 on that night. Nick Robertson looked very good out there. He had 2 goals and an assist. This was kind of there was no big guns in the lineup for the Leafs that night, like Matthews, Marner, Nylander. This
was a Marlies versus the Sens game that night.
Yeah. Then the Marlies still took down the Sens. So
that's disappointing.
And Samsonov stopped 27 of 30 shots. He looks solid. I mean, it's still the preseason, so get ready for when it really counts. And then on Monday, the Leafs played the Canadiens, and there were a lot more of the normal Leaf squad in this lineup, like Matthews, Marner, Nylander, all those guys played. So it was more of a full NHL squad out there, and they took down the Habs 5-1. Alex Kerfoot and William Nylander both had 2 goals, as well as Matt Murray stopped 29 of the 30 shots he faced. So Matt Murray looked good there as well in net. And Nick Robertson, another 3 assists in this one. So I know it's just preseason, but 6 points for Nick Robertson in his last 2 preseason games. He's really given it all he's got in the preseason here, and I think he really wants to get a shot on that opening night lineup, and I think he deserved it for sure after what he's shown in training camp.
Yeah, he's been dynamite so far in preseason, definitely trying to earn his spot. And so for the Sens for a weekend, we had them at home against the Marlies on that Friday game. And they, like you said, lost 6-3. This was just disappointing. Leafs and Hart were. We had like our full lineup basically in that night. We still ended up losing. You guys slapped in 6 goals on us, which is a little, scary about our defense early. There was Zaitsev just coughed up the puck that game. It was yucky. Game 2 of our week for the Sens for the last week was Saturday. They played Montreal at home, and they ended up winning that 5-4 in overtime. I think the team still needs to find an identity. It's starting to look like we're having a lot of trouble keeping the puck out of our net. But DeBrincat was doing what he does. He had 2 goals, including the overtime winner in that game. So he's looking like his goal-scoring touch that he's bringing over from Chicago isn't going to be affected at all. Game 3 for last week was on Tuesday night, and it was again against Montreal. We won that one 5-4, and they had a 4-2 lead going into the third, which they almost ended up blowing. Again, this is against the Habs, and we were dressing majority of our guys. We only got by 5-4, but it was good to see, again, on the offense, our lines clicking. And again, obviously last week, Talbot, like we said in the intro, getting hurt for 5 to 7 weeks with a broken rib. That one just hurts. Obviously, we were looking forward to having stable goaltending, a little bit more stable this year with Forsberg and Talbot. And now we're looking like we're going to be rolling with Forsberg and Hellberg. And I know Hellberg is not a known name very much, and we're getting him probably off waivers, but I will remind you that is also how Anton Forsberg made his way to Ottawa, and he found himself a home and played good hockey. So we're kind of hoping Hellberg can do the same thing, and that if it's not him, it's going to be a youngster, probably Mads Sogard, who's an up-and-coming prospect for the Sens, but they might try to hone him in a little more down in Belleville for a bit before that. So probably going to be Forsberg and Hellberg. That was the weekend for the Sens, though.
All right, week out for the Leafs. Not a lot here considering the training camp and preseason's finally coming to an end before the real deal gets going. So the Leafs travel to Detroit Friday night for a matchup with the Red Wings. Not sure how many regulars are going to be in the lineup for that because they play the next night as well back in Toronto. So it's a home and home with the Red Wings, and I'm assuming one of those nights you'll see some of the big guns in and one of the nights you won't. But yeah, after those 2 games wrap up, there'll be, I'm sure, a few more practices, and then the real deal gets going next Wednesday as the Leafs travel to Montreal for the season opener.
Ooh, good stuff. For the Sens next week, our first game is going to be on Thursday, October 6th. That's against Montreal, in Montreal. And then our next game is going to be 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, October 8th. That's again against Montreal, and it's a home game. Only thing about these 2 games is I think we just got to be careful, hopefully come away from them with no guys being injured. That's kind of like the biggest thing we want to focus on right now, especially with guys like Jack-Eye in the Habs lineup who's trying to make a name for himself, running guys. So it's guys that are playing got to keep their head up and hopefully make it through with no injuries. But after that, it's the end of the preseason for Ottawa as well. And then their regular season will begin on October 13th versus Buffalo. And right now, Ottawa is sitting at a preseason record of 3-3. And hopefully that can improve over the next 2 games. So that just shows that we're kind of ready rolling into the regular season on a good note. It's always a good sign. So excited for the regular season to start.
So a new segment we want to bring to you guys is the Burning Questions segment. So we're just going to have questions throughout the year on whether there's a lot of people talking about this with each team, whether it's with the Leafs or with the Sens, or if there's a lot of confusion about something. We want to talk about it, give you our opinion, and as well, hopefully after listening, you can give us your opinion on these burning questions.
Oh yeah. So our new segments, burning questions. Our first burning question is going to be about the Sens, and the question is there a cause for concern for the Ottawa Senators? So if you ask me, there is some cause for concern, but I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. Okay, we still.
So the season hasn't started yet.
Yeah, exactly right. We still need to see this team play in the regular season when it's best on best and when 2 regular season points are on the line. We haven't seen that yet, so we can't even judge for sure. So before I hit that panic button, or before I can go back on a prediction and say the Sens won't make the playoffs, because I still have them projected to make the playoffs, I just need to see that forward group together in the regular season. That Cam Talbot injury, 5 to 7 weeks, does add some concern, not to mention the legal situation this year with Batherson and Formanton, 2 members of that World Junior team that's under investigation. I mean, there's no place for that at all in hockey, and if those 2 guys are found guilty, then they should definitely be punished, and that will depend on the severity of the situation, which could range from a fine all the way to a suspension. So, and defensively so far, there has been some concerns in the preseason where we can't look too much into this because it is preseason. We haven't dressed our top 6 really. So to say they've struggled so far, yes, but we still need to see them in the regular season. With that being said, so there is a cause for a little concern, but I am optimistic because this team still, I think, has a top 5 forward group going into the league. They are that good. Like so far in preseason, DeBrincat's been gelling with Giroux and Stützle, and we got 2 40 goal scorers now with Norris and DeBrincat. Really solid chemistry between grit and skill on those top 2 lines, and this is a really, really solid forward group, and they'll put the puck in the net if given the chance on power plays, and just you give these guys chances, they're going to put the puck in the net. And I talk about the Senators needing an identity, and it's going to come from these guys, and I think it's going to be in the form of us just scoring more goals than the other team. And I think that's an identity they need to embrace, and hopefully those guys can carry the way offensively, because there are going to be growing pains on the back end with guys like Sanderson, and even just like Brandstrom still there. Like as it stands right now, defensively it's looking a little shaky, and we need those guys on offense to pick up the slack and really show that they are that like top 5 forward group if we want to get into the playoffs.
I like what you said there about you really can't judge anything until you see a regular season game. Like all these guys are nervous and they want to make some guys who they're on the fringe. They don't know if they're going to make the roster or not. But I think it's good to see the guys like Giroux and DeBrincat, like you said, you can see those guys gel in preseason because those are guys who've obviously played for years in the league and they know what it takes to score goals, obviously, and win. So it'll be good. It'll be good to see them once the regular season starts. And yeah, I definitely don't think there's cause for concern for the Ottawa Senators.
Definitely not hitting the panic button or anything yet. It's disappointing that we lost Cam Talbot and that, there's some stuff looming over our heads with the legal situation with those guys and defensively, but at least, we got that power offense, and we need to see these guys all together first to really know. And I think that we're still looking good with Forsberg and the other guy who we got in there, Hellberg. He's still going to be all right. So
yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, no, like you said, like obviously there's things that are way bigger than hockey. So I hope that legal situation gets figured out. I hope for the Sens that they can put that behind them and get the season started on the right foot.
Yeah. So let's talk burning questions for the Leafs now.
So burning questions I have for the Leafs. I mean, I feel like there's so many already and the regular season hasn't started, but will Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov be a quality goalie tandem in the NHL? So obviously there's a spotlight on the Leafs goaltending because it's Toronto, and anything to do with the Leafs, there's a spotlight on it. Whether you're doing good or bad, you're going to be asked about it, and everyone's going to look so in depth about it. And said like a lot of people are doubting those two, but we'll have to see how they react and respond to that. So first, what is a quality goaltending tandem? So last year, the average save percentage in the NHL was 907. Last year for Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov, we'll start with Matt Murray. He was a 906 save percentage. So 906, okay, we'll just say it's average. And then you look at Samsonov, he was 896. So that's quite a bit below average. I think that it's tough to judge whether you can get by with average goaltending until you see multiple teams do it. I know that, like I mentioned this last week, there's the teams like New York and Tampa Bay who have guys like Shesterkin and Vasilevsky, and obviously those guys are above average goaltenders. Can you succeed with an average goaltender? In my mind, you can, because if you look in the postseason last year, so let's go back to the 907 save percentage, that's average. Darcy Kemper was a 902 save percentage in the playoffs, and then you say, okay, well, he didn't play all the games. Francouz, the other goaltender for the Colorado Avalanche, he was a 906 save percentage. So when you look at that, you think average goaltending, okay, you can win with average goaltending. You just need, obviously, the Colorado Avalanche are a great hockey team, and they've got superstars all over the place. But I think that all you need to do is, you don't even have to be quality if you're the Leafs. If you're Samsonov and Murray, you need to be average. If you can be average and you can get by with goal scoring, obviously up front for the Leafs, then followed by their defense and then to the goalies, I think that it's going to be a new thing in the NHL where you see tandems that are, the teams aren't going out and spending a lot of money on like a Carey Price because they know that they'll be able to get through with just quality or average goaltending. So I think those guys will be average this year, and that's all the Leafs can ask. Obviously, if they're better, that's great. But I think Murray and Samsonov will be a good tandem for the Leafs this year. What do you think about that, Felix?
Okay, so a couple things. For a quality goaltender, is it fair to say that a quality goaltender would be somebody who is like top 15, you'd say? Or top 16, because there's 32 teams in the league, or right around that 16 mark, would you say?
Yeah, it just depends if you look at quality. Quality is obviously better than average, but how much better than average is quality?
Okay. So you think they will be quality goaltending this year for the Leafs then, right? All right.
I think they will be quality, and they just need to be average. If they're average, they're okay.
Let me tell you why they are going to be below average. Okay? Matt Murray, so far preseason, looked great and all. Yeah. Playing the parade. He's stopped 45 of 46 shots he's faced so far. Good for him. It's preseason. And this is a guy who's known to be extremely streaky and not to mention injury prone. So Matt Murray hasn't played in more than 40 games since 2018. And he has never played more than 50 games in an NHL season in his career. Also, last time Matt Murray had a goals against average under 3 in a season was also 2019. So you can say all you want, he's in Ottawa, they weren't a good team, but the underlying metrics also said that he was part of the reason why the Sens were so bad in those years. He was just horribly streaky, couldn't get on a roll, and at best, Matt Murray, 4 years ago, he showed that he could be a 1A goalie who's capped at 50 games. So let's say you get that out of him, and he did that with Fleury, and Matt Murray also did that with Jari, who then eventually ran him out of a job in Pittsburgh. And so that's what Matt Murray is, and that's kind of what we should be expected. Best case is like 50 games, and he's a 1A. If he could be solid, okay? Samsonov has only once played over 30 games in his career, which was last year. And his numbers were not good. His goals against average was over 3, and his save percentage was under 900. And that is on a playoff Washington Capitals team. You need him at least for 32 games this year, and in 4 years of his career, he's done that once. So I'm telling you, the expectation of this tandem should not be that they are going to be top 15 in the league. If they can provide you with middle-of-the-pack goaltending, like 15th best. That is what you guys need. You're going to have enough goals, more than enough goals, to win you those hockey games if they can provide middle of the pack. What you don't want is for them to not hit their expectations and be bottom of the pack. Okay? So to put the expectations into perspective again, the Leafs last year gave up 253 goals. That was 14th worst in the NHL. So they were not top 15. They were the 14th worst. So right around that middle of the pack, though. Okay? That's with Jack Campbell, and they're coming back with the same defense this year and 2 less proven goaltenders. So I'm expecting more goals against and maybe even a slightly worse goal differential because of those more goals allowed. So Leafs will be about outscoring teams. That's what they got to do. And I think when it comes to their goaltending, injuries and just consistency, I haven't seen it at all yet from really those two guys in their careers. So it's hard to expect that Murray's just going to snap back and be a 1A guy right away again, and that Samsonov is going to be able to be a backup, because he wasn't even really a good backup last year in Washington with his numbers. And also Matt Murray hasn't played more than 40 games in a season since 2018. So I'm predicting that this tandem is not going to be top 15, not going to be a quality goaltending tandem for this league. And at times it is going to hurt them, but they still, I think, can get by with the offensive firepower and with also the defense they have in place. They got really good depth on D. I think that will help them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said there. It's hard to bet on guys that haven't proven it. Obviously, in the NHL, I mean, Matt Murray did a few years ago, but you just gotta stop the pucks that you're supposed to stop. Don't do anything over, like, you don't need to be making these flashy saves. If they can stop the pucks that they're supposed to stop, then I think that that'll be just fine. And if you got two guys, they both want to prove it. They both want to prove that, okay, Washington quit on us, or quit on me, and Ottawa quit on me. I want to show both those teams that I can prove it in the NHL. Like in Murray's case, he has before, so I want to do that again. I want to get back in the playoffs and eventually win another Stanley Cup. And Samsonov is thinking, like, I'm still young. Yeah, I've had a tough start to my NHL career, but I know I could do it. I'm a first round pick, and yeah, no, I think that they'll both really have a lot in them this year to prove what they can do and be a quality/average goaltending tandem in the NHL.
Yeah, and it's funny. I feel like Ottawa is kind of embracing the same identity as what the Leafs had this year, and a little bit definitely in past years, where it's just like, we just are going to score more goals than you, and you know what, so what, we're going to sacrifice a bit on defense and a bit in goal. We got guys that are going to score more goals than you. And you know what, does that lead to success? Maybe in the regular season, but I believe defense wins championships, and goaltending is also a huge part of that. So, like, you also, when you were talking about the Colorado Avalanche, you cited the stats of Kemper and Francouz from last year's playoff run. They were also not giving up very many quality shots. They were such a structurally sound team defensively that they weren't giving up a lot of shots, and by virtue of that, it resulted possibly in a low save percentage for those guys. So they had a stout defense last year, and I think that when it comes time to win a championship, that's what also really pulls through and really shows, like, your depth on D and possibly even a bit of goaltending as well, but mostly how you play team defense, all 5 guys on the ice too, not just 2 defensemen. It's all 5 guys out there. So we'll see where both the Leafs and the Sens end up at the regular season and in the playoffs this year, possibly. We'll see. I'm curious to see, how the goaltending holds up for the Leafs this year, and also what kind of noise the Sens can make.
Yeah, no, safe to say this burning question segment was a hit. So we're going to have to get back to a few more of these in the next few episodes. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're coming to the end of our second episode here. Thank you guys so much for listening. We just want to reiterate and restate what those steps are for our second giveaway, our last giveaway here. Make sure you get yourself entered into it by doing these 2 steps.
So yeah, you're going to want to share the video. That once this video is released, we're going to share it on our social media, and then we need you to share that video as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. For all the people who subscribe to the channel during the first giveaway, we're going to enter you again into the second one. We appreciate all of that very much, obviously. And
the fact that you guys subscribe just means so much to us. We really do appreciate it. We love when you guys message us too and let us know what you thought of the episode. That was really awesome to hear from a few people last week. But yeah, basically the two things: share on social media, and second thing, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You do those two things, and you get yourself entered into a chance to win a free Between the Dots hoodie, your choice of color. And there's two options, so it's not much choice. It's either black or white. But yeah, your choice. You get to pick. So yeah, that's basically it for the giveaway, and that's it for us. What we have planned coming up, we're going to have special guests on the show. We got new segments that are coming up. We're going to do one where Kijo and I make a bet on whose team, either the Sens or the Leaf, who's going to do better in that week, and the loser has to do some sort of punishment. So, it's going to be a lot of fun this year, and we thank you guys so much for your support.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to be had for sure coming up. And this time next week, there will be NHL hockey that is not preseason. So I'm looking forward to that, because the preseason drags on for a little bit, if you ask me. So I'm ready for the start of the regular season. That's right. We're ready for the Sens to get going. Hopefully they're going to get off to a nice big start this year. Let's go Sens. Let's go. So hopefully, yeah, basically thank you again for your support, and make sure everybody listening and watching, head on over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week.